Hello viewers, I am Taram Kumar Gondwal, Assistant Professor in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. The following video is prepared as per the syllabus and course outline of Maharshi Dayanand University. However, there are mostly general topics which cover the working and theoretical aspects of civil engineering. For best understanding and conceptualizing clearly, please do not skip the video and watch till end. At the end of the video and each topic and each section, we will be discussing about the related important questions, feasibility and working application. Let's start the video. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we will continue with unit 1 and we'll talk about normal distribution curve, characteristic strength and characteristic loads. The subject covered is design of concrete structures first. So we'll start with the topic. There is inevitable variation in the strength of the materials and loads on the structure, which is not in our control and it is highly variable. The variation is greater in strength of concrete than in the strength of steel because steel is manufactured under strict quality control than concrete. कंक्रीट तो कई बार साइट पे कास्ट करना पड़ता है, कास्ट इन सिटू बोला जाता है जिसको, पर स्टील जो कि थर्मोमैकेनिकली ट्रीटेड टीएमटी बार्स होते हैं वो स्ट्रिक्ट सुपरविजन और कंसिडरेशंस को फॉलो करके बनाई जाती है. तो स्ट्रेंथ वेरिएशन स्टील में कंक्रीट के कंपैरिजन में कम होता है. इन अ सिमिलर वे, dead and live loads show variation. A dead load can be estimated more accurately, whereas live load is subjected to wider variation. बिल्कुल सही बात है. एक स्टैटिक लोड को मेजर करना आसान है, पर एक मूविंग वेट को जो कि कॉन्टिन्यूसली अपनी पोजीशन चेंज कर रहा है उसको मेजर करना कंपैरेटिवली मुश्किल है. This necessitates the design of a structure conforming to the requirement that the section in the structure of minimum strength of materials is capable of resisting the worst combination of loads that may act. इसलिए एक स्ट्रक्चर ऐसा बनाना जरूरी है जो वर्स्ट कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ लोड्स को विथस्टैंड कर पाए, जिसमें कि डायनेमिक लोड्स भी हो, स्टैटिक लोड्स भी हो, और ये कंसिडर करते हुए कि स्टील और कंक्रीट जो हम यूज करने वाले हैं उनकी स्ट्रेंथ भी वेरिएबल होगी. Therefore, a probability concept of strength of materials falling below an assumed value and a load exceeding the assumed value is considered. तो इसलिए एक प्रोबेबिलिटी फंक्शन बनाया जाता है जिसमें जो भी हम मटेरियल यूज करने वाले हैं उनकी स्ट्रेंथ वैल्यूज कितनी, उसकी जो एवरेज स्ट्रेंथ वैल्यू है वो उस एवरेज स्ट्रेंथ वैल्यू से कम स्ट्रेंथ और उस एवरेज स्ट्रेंथ से ज्यादा स्ट्रेंथ के बीच में ग्राफ प्लॉट करते हैं. The variation of strength of materials and loads follow the normal distribution curve as shown in the figure below. I'll zoom in the video. Yes, here you can see. On the left side, it is given frequency density of strength of material. And on bottom, on the x-axis, we can see strength of material. So the vertical left side line is x bar minus 1.65s, and the right vertical bar is x bar plus 1.65s. Here you can see it is 5% probability of x less than or equal to x bar minus 1.65s, and here it is x greater than or equal to x bar plus 1.65s, and this value is 1.65s. So we'll move to the next point. This area beneath the curve represents total number of test data, and the portion of test data having values less than some specified values is represented by the area beneath the curve to the left hand side of the vertical line drawn through the specified value. Similarly, the portion of test data having values greater than some specified values is represented by area beneath the curve to the right hand side of the vertical line drawn through specified value. We'll go back to the graph again. So here is our graph. जो स्पेसिफाइड वैल्यूज हैं, जो हमें वैल्यूज एंटिसिपेटेड हैं, जो वैल्यूज हमें उम्मीद है, जो वैल्यूज हमें चाहिए, वो इस कर्व के नीचे आएंगी. जो वैल्यूज इस स्पेसिफाइड वैल्यू से कम है वो इस वर्टिकल लाइन के लेफ्ट साइड में आएंगी, और जो वैल्यू इस स्पेसिफाइड कर्व से ज्यादा है वो इस वर्टिकल लाइन के राइट. Therefore, there is always the probability that a strength will be obtained which may be less than the specified strength. तो हमेशा एक अज्यूम किया जाता है कि एक जो हमें स्ट्रेंथ, जो स्पेसिफाइड स्ट्रेंथ है, जो एक्चुअल स्ट्रेंथ है, उससे कम स्ट्रेंथ भी हमें मिल सकती है. Likewise, there is always a probability that a load may occur which may be greater than the specified load. और उसी तरीके से ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि जो लोड हमने उम्मीद किया है, जो लोड हमने एंटिसिपेट किया है, उससे ज्यादा लोड आ जाए हमारे स्ट्रक्चर के ऊपर. The IS code specifies the characteristic strength of concrete FCK as 28 days cube strength, below which not more than 5% of the test results may be expected to fall. तो IS कोड ये रिकमेंड करता है कि 28 day strength of concrete gives its characteristic strength, और ये माना जाता है कि 5% से ज्यादा वैल्यूज कैरेक्टरिस्टिक स्ट्रेंथ से कम नहीं होनी चाहिए. 5% ऑफ टेस्ट रिजल्ट्स. एग्जाम्पल, अगर हमने 100 क्यूब्स कास्ट करे हैं और हमने मान लिया M30 ग्रेड के कास्ट करे हैं, तो 100 में से 5 यानी कि सिर्फ 5% क्यूब्स ऐसे होने चाहिए जिनकी वैल्यू 30 से बिलो है, उससे ज्यादा नहीं होने चाहिए. It is related to the mean strength of concrete, which is given by follow. FCK is equals to FM minus 1.65 S, and where here you can see where S is standard deviation, which is a measure of variability of variable, जिससे पता चलता है कि हमारी जो कैरेक्टरिस्टिक स्ट्रेंथ्स हैं वो कितनी ज्यादा वेरी कर रही हैं. Where xi is the ith test result, x bar is equals to mean of test result, n is equals to number of test results. So we can see here in this table, it shows characteristic strength, standard deviation, and mean strength of concrete of different grades. This is for M15, characteristic strength is 15, standard deviation is 3.5, and mean strength is 20.8, because actual strength obtained after 28 days is more than this characteristic strength. So you can have a look on all the grades of concrete for their characteristic strength, standard deviation, and mean strength. This is up to M40 grade. So similarly, characteristic strength of cold worked high strength deformed bars is defined as the value of 0.2% of proof stress, below which not more than 5% strength may be expected to fall. बिल्कुल उसी तरीके से. So the characteristic load is defined as the value of load which is not exceeded beyond an acceptable probability. during the lifespan of a structure. And likewise, IS code recommends that the probability of 5% of load not exceeding the characteristic load, statically it can be expressed as characteristic load is equals to mean load plus 1.65 standard deviation. This is the formula which we read earlier. So this represents the right side of the vertical line of the normal distribution curve. So about factor of safety and partial factor of safety, we have discussed in the previous video. You can use that video to gain knowledge about factor of safety and partial factor of safety. Now we'll move to factored and unfactored loads. As we can see on the screen, unfactored load is the service load and represents the peak value of load during the life of the structure. जो भी उसकी एक वैल्यू होती है, जैसे कोई 1000 न्यूटन या फिर 1100 किलो न्यूटन का कोई भी वेट है, तो वो जो भी वेट है वो ही एज इट इज उसको कंसिडर किया जाएगा, तो वो अनफैक्टर्ड लोड है. It is expected that the structure remain elastic under this load. ये उम्मीद की जाती है कि जो ये अनफैक्टर्ड लोड होता है इसके अंदर स्ट्रक्चर इलास्टिकली बिहेव करता है. ये हम डिजाइन के दौरान कंसिडर करते हैं. But factored load is the load at which the structure reaches a collapse state. That is, it is unable to resist any further increase in the external load. तो जो लोड स्ट्रक्चर को कोलैप्स की स्थिति तक ले जाए वो फैक्टर्ड लोड होता है. इसके बाद जो स्ट्रक्चर होता है वो और इंक्रीज को झेल नहीं पाता है और लोड के इंक्रीज को नहीं रेजिस्ट कर पाता है. बिल्डिंग कोड्स सजेस्ट अ सूटेबल लोड फैक्टर टू ऑब्टेन फैक्टर्ड लोड फ्रॉम अनफैक्टर्ड लोड. तो बिल्डिंग कोड्स जो स्टैंडर्ड आईएस कोड्स होते हैं वो रिकमेंड करते हैं कि हम अनफैक्टर्ड लोड को फैक्टर्ड लोड कैसे बनाएं. दिस लोड फैक्टर डिपेंड्स ऑन द लोड बीइंग कंबाइंड एंड द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ देयर साइमल्टेनियस अकरेंस. तो एक कॉम्बिनेशन बनाया जाता है कि कौन कौन से लोड्स हमारे स्ट्रक्चर पे एक्ट करेंगे और उनके लिए फैक्टर्स बनाए जाते हैं, कॉम्बिनेशन फैक्टर्स. दिस लोड फैक्टर मे बी 1.5 फॉर ग्रेविटी लोड्स, that is dead loads plus live load, whereas it may be 1.2 for dead loads plus live loads plus earthquake load. The load factor defines the margin of safety we expect for that specific load combination. So this was all about factored and unfactored loads. We'll move to analysis and design part of a beam section. So the first thing that comes is modular ratio and transformed area. In a reinforced concrete structure, the strains in steel and concrete at the same point are equal due to proper bonds between them. तो माना जाता है कि स्टील और कंक्रीट में इक्वल स्ट्रेन होते हैं क्योंकि जो स्टील और कंक्रीट के बीच का बॉन्ड होता है वो बिल्कुल प्रॉपर बॉन्ड माना जाता है. सो इफ कैपिटल EC एंड कैपिटल ES आर मॉड्यूलाई ऑफ इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ कंक्रीट एंड स्टील रेस्पेक्टिवली, द स्ट्रेसेस in concrete and steel having the same strain E will be given by the following. Stress in concrete is given by sigma C is equals to EC into E, and sigma C sigma S, that is stress in steel, is given by ES into E. Now if we divide both equations, we get ES by EC on the right side and sigma S by sigma C on the left side. So by transposing, keeping sigma s here and substituting sigma c on this side. ES by EC can be written as M, and where M is the ratio of ES by EC and is referred as modular ratio. So sigma S is equals to M sigma C. The value of ES remains constant, whereas the value of EC changes due to plasticity in concrete. Therefore, IS code recommends the following expression for modular ratio M, which takes into account the plasticity of concrete. तो IS कोड एक रिकमेंड करता फॉर्मूला जो कंक्रीट की प्लास्टिसिटी को कंसीडर करते हुए बनाया गया है. गिवन बाय दिस फॉर्मूला M, that is modular ratio, is given by 280 divided by 3 sigma CBC, where sigma CBC is permissible compressive stress in concrete in bending. ये आपने देखा था जो हमने पीछे कंप्रेसिव स्ट्रेस परमिसिबल कंप्रेसिव स्ट्रेस इन कंक्रीट इन बेंडिंग निकालते थे, उसको 3 से डिवाइड करके कैरेक्टरिस्टिक स्ट्रेंथ को. So the equation 1 indicates that this equation indicates that stress in steel is M times the stress in concrete. It can also be said that an area of steel subject to stress in concrete at a location of steel, therefore stress in tensile steel said to be M times stress in concrete. So for compression steel, it has been observed that stress in steel is much larger than stress computed from equation above. It is because of development of inelastic compressive strain in concrete due to creep and shrinkage of concrete. तो concrete में जो भी shrinkage होता है उसकी वजह से एक strain develop हो जाता है. As the steel is embedded in concrete, elastic deformation of concrete is resisted by steel. तो जहां जहां पे कंक्रीट और स्टील का बॉन्ड होता है वहां पे डिफॉर्मेशन को स्टील प्रिवेंट कर लेता है. This results in the development of tensile strain in concrete and compressive strain in steel. तो ये स्टील में compressive strain इंड्यूस कर देता है और कंक्रीट में टेंसाइल स्ट्रेन. Hence, the final stress in concrete is less than initial elasticity stress than in steel. To account for such increase in stress in comparison to steel, the IS code recommends 1.5 M instead of M. So sigma S is given by 1.5 M sigma C. Now coming to the transformed area of the section. Now coming to the topic, transformed area of a section. So the first figure is transformed area of singly reinforced section. Singly reinforced section में this is cross section. This is because this is singly reinforced, so reinforcement is at this side only. And equivalent section is this. M, this line represent MAST. This is neutral axis. And this is stress profile. Sigma S by M. And this is stress in concrete, sigma CBC. Now transformed area of doubly reinforced section. Here you can see this was area of steel under tension. Again here the bottom steel is area of steel under tension and this is area of steel under compression. It is believed that the steel in the upper fiber is believed to be in compression while in the bottom fibers is believed to be in tension. Again this is neutral axis in the equivalent section and this is MAST. This again represents sigma CBC and it is sigma S by M. This is stress profile.
Therefore, the equivalent area of compression steel ASC is 1.5 MASC, as the area of concrete equal to the area ASC is displaced by it. The effective transformed area is taken as 1.5 M minus 1 here of ASC. Therefore, stress in compressive steel shall be 1.5 M times the stress in concrete at the location of steel. IS code recommend following formula for effective flange width of T and inverted L beam as follows. Here you can see formula for different cases. For T beam, BF is given by L0 by 6 plus BW plus 6 DF, which should not be greater than B. For inverted beam, BF is equals to L0 by 12 plus BW plus 3 DF, which should not be greater than B. For isolated beam, that is T beams, BF is L0 by B plus 4 plus BW. Here you can see, and again this formula is also used for L beam of isolated type, where BF is effective width of flange, L0 is distance between points of zero moments, which may be taken as 0.7 times the effective span. BW is breadth of web, DF is thickness of flange, and small b is actual width of flange, which is equal to the breadth of web plus beam. I hope you guys could understand today's topic well. So we'll end with today's topic. The important questions that arises is, what are factored and unfactored loads? Then there are different formulas for different cases. What is normal distribution curve? What is characteristic strength? What is characteristic load? Thank you. Now we'll meet in the next lecture.
I hope you guys could understand and correlate the topics taught in today's session. If there is any query or subject matter issue, feel free to mail me at the given email ID. Live discussion sessions could also be used for discussion of doubts. Thank you.